So, how has the fan response been to your A Tout Le Monde beer?
Fan response has been great. I think it's been great on a lot of different fronts because music fans like it, beer fans like it, we're winning awards with it, and it's just super exciting to walk into a store and you see there's your beer on the counter. You know, it's like, wow, the only time I ever imagined me making alcohol in my life was having nightmares of making Pruno in prison.
When you were thinking about making a beer, probably Saison didn't pop into your head first thing. How did you get to the point where you and Jerry decided you were going to make a Saison?
You know, I didn't even know what Saison was until I met Jerry. Well, the whole thing, the different type of beer. They had suggested that that was a good type of beer for us to try it, and I liked it. It's turned out really successful for us. It's a learning process because, you know, for me, beer's beer. But since I've gotten into the craft world, there's a lot more to it.
Talking about things about different types of craft beer and the different things about craft beer that you sort of learned about, what did you find about your palate that you liked? What are some of the flavors and things that you liked and maybe didn't like when you were trying different beers?
Well, you know, I don't really know how beer's made. Jerry taught me what little I comprehended in the short amount of time I've known him. So you can imagine I'm allergic to mango, and when I read the description for the liquid and it said it had notes of mango, I was like, no. But it was just, you know, notes of it. So
right.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see the chemical reaction with all of that stuff, how it goes, and you know how it takes place, and you know, the fermentation, how some people will use yeast once, like we do, versus other people who will use it in some cases up to 100 times, which I heard and I thought that's absolutely insane because the yeast has to take on characteristics of the previous batch of the liquid that it was making. So everything's got to be tainted unless it's pure and dedicated to that one batch like what we do.
Mm-hmm. A lot of bands of Megadeth's size are pretty content to just slap their logo on a macro brewed brand and call it good. You decided to go the craft beer route. What was it that sort of made you want to go in that direction instead of sort of just putting Megadeth logo on a craft brewed macro brewed lager?
Because I think there's enough pussy posers out in the world that you don't need another one. I think if we made a real beer, you know, if we're going to put our name on it, it should be real. It should be legit. There's so many people in the world that, you know, it's all about private label this, do that, you know, take other people's credit, you know, do back label deals and stuff. And to me, it just nauseates me trying to take advantage of your fans. I wanted to do something where I got down and dirty and did it. I planted the vines in my vineyard in our estate in California. There's pictures of me on the ground digging holes and sticking vines in the ground.
When you announced you were going to do a beer with Unibroue, there was fans probably had preconceived ideas as to what the beer might end up being. Mm-hmm. Have you heard from people afterwards saying, you know, this isn't brutal enough or whatever? Did people feel like the Megadeth beer should be a certain way?
Of course, you know, I think a lot of people thought it was supposed to taste like blood, you know, but it doesn't really matter because, you know, when you look at the aggregate of our fan base, there's so many different people, there's so many different types, and, you know, I can't remember who it was, if it was W.C. Fields or if it was something like Yogi Berra or something like that, said he could fool all the people some of the time and some of the people all the time. But, you know, for us to make a beer that we've had so much success with, you know, we did the festival in Chicago, the International Beer Festival. We won a gold medal there, 93 points. That's what Jerry was trying to say. You know, we're just getting started. So, and the other thing too, Jerry was trying not to say that, you know, we are looking at doing something in the future, but, you know, we're focusing on A Tout Le Monde right now. I would love to have 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of beers, but right now we're focused on A Tout Le Monde. And as excited as it's been for us, you know, to talk about the future, I'm excited when he says he wants to do another beer, but I think right now our focus is on A Tout Le Monde.
One thing I like to do is I like to pair specific craft beers with metal albums. And I'm wondering, what of your albums would you think pairs best with A Tout Le Monde?
Good question. I think A Tout Le Monde, the Megadeth beer is sophisticated, and I think that a lot of the Megadeth records are so just reckless. I think it's almost a dichotomy to try and put the two of them together. I would say out of the records that we have that are mature enough to kind of go hand in hand, I would say probably A Countdown to Extinction, maybe.
That's what I would have said. That's exactly what my answer would have been, because it's refined, it's still complex, and has intensity to it. Thanks for doing this interview with me.